Hello, good evening and good afternoon, good morning, anywhere you are, good afternoon, anything. Good eve, good evening, everyone. Okay, okay, okay. So I am Victor Agbayakai, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. As the main moderator is not available, but nevertheless, the show must go on. Okay, so before we dive into this webinar, this is the third series. So I want to ask if you guys did enjoy yesterday's session on SageMaker for business from prototype to production. Yeah, it was really a powerful session that showed how ideas can scale into real world solution. So today we're going to shift focus to a topic that every organization cares about, which is AI powered customer experience solutions on AWS. So customer experience is no longer just about providing good service. It's about creating personalized, responsive, and predictive interactions that meet people where they are, whether it's chatbots that answer instantly, recommendation systems that understand preferences, or automated feedback systems that adapt in real time. AI is transforming how businesses connect with their customers. So at Arthurite now, our vision has always been simple: use cloud and AI to build applications that make everyday life easier, to developing scalable solutions for businesses. And we are also showing how AI on AWS can transform customer experiences in ways that are practical, measurable, and impactful. So I hope you guys are excited because today's discussion will open your mind to how customers' journey can be smarter, faster, and more personalized when powered by AWS AI services. So to lead us through this webinar, we have Joshua Mobola, and he is a developer relations engineer, AI educator, and founder working on unified payment infrastructure, bridging Web3 and Web2. He's passionate about making AI accessible, designing AI power solutions, leading technical workshops, and contributing to open source projects. So today he represents Courses AI initiatives across Africa, and he's here to show how AI can unlock new levels of customer engagement and satisfaction. So I'm going to be bringing up Joshua to the stage now to give us his talk now. Okay, Joshua, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay,
Can you
yeah, I
hear
can
me?
hear you now.
Okay, awesome. All right. It's interesting. I was listening. How can I get feedback from the audience? Okay, I see somebody,
Yeah,
Ibrahim.
I'm hearing you
Is
now.
Hi Ibrahim, welcome to the webinar. If you're also like if you're on the back end, if you're watching, you're listening, it would be nice to drop a comment. Let me drop a comment as well. Because I want this to be a conversation. I'm going to talk about a couple of things, what I know, and hopefully I can learn from you too as well, because no one knows it all in AI these days. I do a lot of content. I do a lot of like research. I try to stay on top of what is going on in the AI space. So, uh, but it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. So nobody knows it all right now. Okay, Prince, welcome. If you are in the back end, please just drop a comment. Let me know that I have people uh on, on stage with me, because this is a conversation. This is between me and you. Okay, thank you, Victor, for the introduction. My name is Joshua. I do not have lots of slides. I want to do something I would not say interesting, but unusual for testing out a new style of presentation where I show like a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard I kind of draft along the conversation as we proceed. So I'm sharing something right now. If you can help me bring it up on stage, Victor, that would be nice. So keep dropping the comments if you're in the back end, if you're watching, if you're listening, wherever. I think Twitter. I think we're streaming to Twitter as well on LinkedIn. This is a very quick one. I think we have just about 30 minutes to do this. In those 30 minutes, I hope to connect with you and we can talk about bringing AI to customer experiences. Victor, I just shared my screen. Do you see it? Hi, Victor. Okay, wait. If you can hear me, let me know. Please drop a chat because I don't think Victor can hear me. Oh, Victor, are you there? Okay, for some reason. Okay. All right, I'll just move on. Whenever the screen comes up, you guys can we can continue with that. So, my name is Joshua. I am a developer relations engineer, and a lot of my work revolves around learning stuff or figuring stuff out. Oh, yes, we got it. AI powered CX. Okay, so I have this whiteboard, and on this whiteboard, we're gonna draft out our conversation as we proceed throughout today. So, we're talking about AI powered customer experiences. And uh, this is, I wouldn't say I'm an expert myself in any of this conversation. That's one thing. I know it's not good to start this kind of conversation and say, oh, I'm not an expert, because you expect experts to come on this kind of webinars and stuff. I'm not an expert yet because I believe nobody's an expert when it comes to AI right now. We just know a little bit more than each other because we're still figuring it out, right? And I understand that we've gotten to a point with artificial intelligence right now that it's no longer a question of, oh, do you want to use this or not? It's a question of how fast can you figure out where to put this AI stuff and make use of it and bring the experience boost it gives to your products, users, or your customers, or even your personal life. Today, I've had sometimes before I even speak to anybody in a day, I open ChatGPT and I just quickly, what's this? And I dump some stuff in there. Same thing as your customers. We are getting acclimatized to AI, and it's not strange. I don't think it's a thing we should see and we should be like, why is this not happening? Because before you could get like a decent amount of response from a thing, I'm not talking about AI, like before you could have a decent amount of response from a thing, you might be talking to an actual human. But ChatGPT can I give you, or whatever language model you're chatting with, can I give you some decent response and cohesive response? So what usually takes 10 hours, 10 days, 10, 1 week to process or do, you can literally have it available to you in an instant. And the same thing goes for the people using the products that you are creating, or people using things that you are using. And we've gotten some various statistics to that. 80% of customer interaction are expected to be AI driven in the coming years. Even right now, you can tell. If you go to any decent documentation today, you will see chat with the docs, or you will see copy. In fact, I can show you. Would that be decent? Okay, let me just. You guys probably know. If you go to Stripe right now, Stripe docs. Most people, if you're a developer, you might have seen Stripe docs at some point. You will see copy with AI, copy to an LLM. You see a lot of various key positioning where you can put in frictionless experiences that give the people using your product a better experience with it. And we can even take that step further. Like I mentioned, the copy with AI, copy with stuff. There's even more that there are products that you even integrate into your docs now, or like the front end of your app, and you can see chat with the doc. You can see chat with the text or something. If you've seen any of this stuff, let me know. Just drop them in the comment. If any of this stuff I'm saying you resonate with you, just let me know in the comment. And it's not strange because text is one of the most important means of communication that we as humans have developed over the years. On the internet, text is what we hear. Text, we hear words being spoken. Somehow your brain is translating those words to process it, and now we have computer being able to come up with those words itself and give us. Chat with docs, chat with the tool. There's some tools that you even go there now, they'll say you type it. Even all these AI builders, you're dealing with text, you're typing text, you're giving it to the machine, and it's doing some random processing. There's a lot of things that goes on into what AI does, but in the back end. But I wouldn't go into all that today. Today, I want to focus on how to take this and think about some customer experiences uplifters. Like I said, we have 80% of customer experiences in the coming years would be AI boosted, right? I have seen instances where, apart from the chat, I do developer relations, so that's literally how to make these things simpler for developers when they're trying to find out how to use our product. There's the chat with docs, like I mentioned. There's the chat with AI. There are even ones where you can click a button on your screen on the product, and there will be an avatar that will come out and talk to you. I think if you go to hackathon.dev or something, they still have it there. There is the product called Tavili, right? Once you integrate that product, you feed it to your documentation on the back end or something, and you put it in your website. Whenever someone lands on your website, they can have like this experience where they can chat, and something like this button will be there, and then click it. There's a pop-up. There's an avatar of your CEO. You can actually make it to look like your CEO or your product person or someone that is very familiar with the company, and they can have a conversation with whoever is requesting from it. Those are very tiny, tiny, tiny things that take the experience of users on your website or your apps or whatever you're doing to the next level, because there are different complexity of products, and every opportunity you get to make these experiences better, you want to take it. So why did I go up all of that explanation and stuff is to take us to the next level, is that these things are not slowing down, right? We have people want things instantly. You have people are relying on your services or whatever industry or whatever fit you are in. You need to also scale to support. In one of the projects I worked on last year, we had this recurring question coming up. People coming to Discord, because Discord is where we hosted our support. By the way, can you guys hear me? Let me know. I keep asking this question because I know I'm dealing with MTN, so I need to be sure that I have not been
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Victor, thank you. You're my time. Once you can hear me,
Yeah, we
please
can
let
hear
me
you.
know. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we had these guys coming to the Discord to ask the same question. And the question can be as simple as, where do I find this in the documentation? Right? It keeps coming up every single time. They come and say, okay, I'm trying to integrate your stuff in Rust and this and this and that. Where can I find it? And then me as the developer, we need to go to the documentation and go copy the link and share it again. And the same thing keep popping up. Like you can see the same day. So there are two issues here. Is it that our documentation is not properly done well, or people are just not going to find it? They feel like going here is easier, or whatever that is. There's some very good feedbacks you can get from that experience, right? But we need to find a way to fix that, because it was taking support time and all of this stuff. And that's the customer, right? Customer experience. The experience of a customer, because even though it's a developer, at the end of the day, it's a customer, because it's using our API, it's using our products in their stuff, and they're going to pay us, right? We need to fix it. So what did I do? I That was the boom of AI, right? At the point where AI was going crazy, we needed to find a way to either fix that documentation, because it definitely need fixing. If somebody keeps searching, if people keep coming to ask for the same thing, is definitely a problem with the docs, because the customer is always right. They need to see it, or I can't say all the hundreds of people coming are lazy, right? But the docs is a big project. What kind of fix can we fix now, right this instant, that is going to help us with that? So what we did is I analyzed a couple AI products at that time, and I found out that you can actually have ones that connect to your Discord. And inside your Discord, they can provide answers to customers or to developers, because these developers are the customers, and they can ask them questions. So more like the AI chatbot you see on the website, but we are bringing that experience into Discord, right? because these things just APIs now. You can plug them into whatever, right? And that's what we did. And overnight, like the moment we announced, I think the day we launched that stuff, we had a crazy. At least I personally, because I'm usually one going to go and copy the link, you know, and that first time we launched it, we got a good response from people asking the docs from the bots. Like they made the announcement, and we got like a big celebration. All those emojis in Discord. People were asking this stuff, and the things that we usually go find in the docs and be clicking around, and it just because we've given it all our documentation, given it all our website, it was responding to the customers on our behalf. Now think about the immense opportunities and the immense lift of weight that happened to us. So me, I don't have to spend time scrolling the forum, waiting for looking at what does this guy need? The same link, copy paste. I don't have to. Nobody has to be and even this AI chatbot could even give some responses to like some very integral development questions. So apart from links, someone is asking, I have this response from my AI response from when I call this endpoint. This is what I'm trying to do. What do you think? What do you think? Our chatbot has AI that can take that and use the docs, think about it, and give you the response. We do not trust it 100% of the time, so we let you know that this is a risky thing. This is not always right. What you see in ChatGPT, we can make mistakes, but usually you find out that most times you can almost see the answer to your question. It might not be the exact thing you need, but after a few conversations, you can get some good responses from this. And these are some ways that AI can be part of your workflow to help you, bring this upliftment to the experience, because everything is a journey, and from the landing page, from the website to this, all of them is a journey, and you are helping the customer make a decision on getting, is either making use of a product, or if they're already part of your ecosystem, getting to the right answers they need to provide the services that they require. So these are some reasons why this is important. And from personal experience, I think this is definitely something that should be considered. So these days, what are the ways that people are using this stuff? Like we've gotten into, everybody's trying to do voice now. If you looked into it, I think I was trying to do some research for a content I was trying to create, and I realized that the boost in voice experiments is increasing these days, right? And you should not experiment. Don't be left behind, because your competitors are doing this, right? If you check out Inkeep, let me just keep typing as I'm. So Inkeep, there is this other product. Sorry, this is not AWS specific. I want to do all this. I just like get an overview, then we'll go deeper into it. There's Inkeep. I can't remember the name of the other guys. And crazy enough, those are the guys we integrated. I can't remember. But there's Inkeep, things like this. When they started, like a couple users, if you check most documentations now, you will see this guy. I remember when Nick is the founder of this project. Nick, it was like, was just crappy, all of that, trying to get people to buy in. But now I'm sure they've reduced the marketing, because everybody sees it, everybody needs it these days. I rather, when I go to a docs, I rather type in something, AI does all the computation and gives me the output. Saves me time, saves me energy. And then most times I just ask questions that, please, I'm trying to build this. What are the APIs I need? And it gives me what I need. I paste that in Cursor. Cursor is another tool I use. And I know that there are AWS specific ones like Kiro. I tried to get into Kiro. I got in late, so I was not given access, but my friends have it, so I've experimented with it. Pretty good, very good one. So these are things that your customers are open and using and waiting for. So there are people trying to get into voice chatbots, right? On websites, when you type in, when you go to places, you see that thing that pops up, those customer things. They are I don't always enjoy it every time, I'll tell you, but oftentimes it's always, I think I enjoy the fact that I can get a response immediately from something, rather than waiting for, especially if your customer service support team is not always responsive. Is a very big friction. But if you have a chatbot where something can respond to you immediately, I think I prefer it than just being dull and nothing happening. So products like Intercom and all this stuff, they do this stuff. And if people that use it, we have it on our website, and it's a really big boost. And you can even do some very minute configuration that can take, if somebody is trying to do something, you can, and it's not something that the AI can provide, you can wire it up so you can reach out to your support team on Slack, do some workflow automations that makes it even more integrated to your product. There is also like the one I mentioned where I said some people are trying to use, like, their CEO is, they gave it, their CEO recorded the video, right, and then they fed the video into this model, AI model, and then they now get a link, and they put the link on their website, and when you click on that stuff, you can chat with the CEO. And it's not really, it's a fancy thing, but trust me, there's this why feeling you get, and I think some of those things will lead to conversions, right? Okay, so these are like the overview of like using AI in your customer experience journey, and some of the stuff that you can do. One of the other ways that this can also be done is you can also build some of this stuff yourself, which is the big crux of this conversation really, is how do you wire some stuff up to get to this point. And on that note, I want to talk about something called retrieval augmented generation. The short version of it is RAG. If you've heard about RAG, can you let me know in the comment? If this is your first time, let me know in the comment. And if I'm boring you out as well, let me know in the comment. I won't continue until I see someone drop a comment. Victor, am I still audible? Check it for me.
Yes, you're very audible.
All right, good. Okay. Anybody? If you've heard about RAG in whatever form, if this is your first time hearing it, let me know. RAG, anybody? RAG. Okay, Prince, we good. Yeah, we good. But have you heard about RAG? Have you heard about RAG? Retrieval augment. Don't go and, if you just googled it, okay, you can say you've heard about it if you just googled it. But okay, apart from Toib, anybody else? Okay, just to know what audience I'm working with. Okay, good. So, like, all right, cool. That there, you just said it now. Interesting. If you just said about RAG now, that's interesting because I think you've used a product that has RAG integrated. You just maybe, of course, did not know the term. So what RAG stands for is RAG, RAG, right? RAG stands for retrieval. I think this is how retrieval is spelled. Augmented generation, right? This is what RAG stands for. And essentially what it means is, we talk about like AI models every day. I think there should be a way to wait. Did I just refresh? I think I just refreshed. What did I just do? Okay, for some reason. Okay, we're back. All right. RAG. Okay, we're back. So RAG stands for retrieval augmented generation. And what that means is there are like keywords in this sentence, right? You have retrieval. Why is this stuff big? Is it because I'm zoomed in? Okay. I want to be able to. Okay. There are keywords in this sentence. There's retrieval. So we're going to take it one by one. Retrieval, there's augmented, there's generation. So when you ask a chatbot for a thing, right? There are several. You'll have heard about prompt engineering. which is like the way you give instructions to a bot, the way you give, you ask a bot for something, or the way you ask ChatGPT for something. How do you structure those prompts? And there's a lot of demand for people that can do this. I often joke around and say this is the period where they will ask you or more your English, because you need to know how to be specific and be very particular about those things you need. Prompt engineering just requires that you know English, and or you learn so much about what the AI requires, and you can give it those information, right? But now there's a new thing called context engineering, right? Context engineering is, forget about the prompts. There's a limit you can reach with that. Let's talk about the context you are providing to the bots, to the chat, to the model, right? And why am I talking about this in respect to customer experience? Is that one of the very easy facets that you can bring AI into your customer experience flow, your user journey, is to provide an avenue for them to have responses to whatever queries they need. Because at the end of the day, they come, they have a problem, they have an issue, they have something, and they require you to respond to them, which is what I explained earlier and said we had issues with that at my place of work. And we brought in an AI bot to do this. Now we're using a paid service. Some people have built the entire flow. We just plugged it in. But you might need to you might want to have a custom stuff, which is also like the big deal about the webinar today. How do you put together AWS stuffs to do this? But I want to start with this because I believe that when you're talking about AI, I don't want to always assume that people know everything, like before we just jump into like connecting nodes and stuff. Or maybe that stuff, you guys are probably experts on that already. This might be the part where we need to even have more conversation on. So we know prompt engineering is you giving instructions to the model. We know people are saying it's not gonna do so much right now. You can have so many prompts. There's so much you can do with prompts, but what sort of context does the AI have? I wish I could show you examples right now of like how those things really help. But RAG is one of the ways that is a word coined to sort of pipe into context engineering, where when you ask a bot for something, like I said, the easiest way to have like a good customer experience with AI right now is just to find a way to put to help users move faster with your products. So if you're not doing like the chatbot and thing, you might be doing the voice, or you might even be doing the AI powered workflows. I've seen some really good examples where some people have like AI that would, when you ask the chatbots for something, the AI thing will take control of the mouse, the cursor, and go do that thing for the user. It's crazy. But let's leave all that now because that's beyond this conversation, right? The mouse, the cursor will move and click around the screen and do the thing for the user. But let's not do that. But let's talk about the fact that how do you bring it to your chat? Where, for example, the user can have like a place where they can have conversation. It could be in your docs, it could be directly in the products, maybe integrated into a particular workflow in some sorts. And the name for that workflow is called a RAG system, right? And that is why I'm explaining this RAG. Just wanted to put it that so that you don't get lost in what am I saying. So the RAG, retrieval augmented generation. So retrieval stands for getting context. So when you ask ChatGPT and say what is Arthurite, so if I go to ask ChatGPT what is Arthurite now, I think I should be able to do that. Okay, let me see if I can spin that up real quick. If MTN doesn't mess up, I should be able to show you who or what is Arthurite. My question is, I don't know how to spell Arthurite. Or Arthurite. Right. This is an example of a question that somebody might ask on your web page, right? Oh my, this is beautiful. All right, can you guys see this? Okay, so Victor, can you confirm this is how to spell Arthurite, right? Oh, it's on your page. Let me check.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's correct spelling.
It's correct spelling. Oh, okay, good. So like this is if you just pipe in an AI model into your stuff. Arthurite. Oh, I got it. I'm sort of a genius myself. Just joking. Arthurite integrated. Okay. But no, users, people make mistakes. If I don't have the integrated, this is probably what is going to come up. Like, let's just assume that this is me as a customer asking for something from your product, and you have a chatbot, and you just put in AI. You just plug in OpenAI API, or maybe you plugged in AWS APIs. That's also a possibility, right? This is a potential response that your user would get. Now, in what part of this conversation are we discussing a copper ion, phosphate, sulfate? We are not having that conversation right here. But this is the context that the Claude model has. This is Claude Sonnet 4, by the way. I should be able to show that. This is Claude Sonnet 4. Can you see? Sonnet 4. We are not having any conversation about like mineral, copper. I I we are not having a conversation here. So this is lacking context of the conversation we are having right now. Are you guys still with me? If you're with me, let me know. Drop an emoji or something. This is lacking context of the information we're having right now. So if I'm a customer and for some reason I land on your website and just come, oh, you guys you have chat with AI. Interesting. Okay. Just tell me what exactly you guys do. I just pop it there. Of course, I might not add integrated. Users are gonna do interesting things with your products, right? Or ask interesting questions. Your job is to provide them, right? Provide answers. This is wrong. This is not in line with your product. If I see this chat with AI, I probably will bounce. I'll probably just close the account and move on, or just go find another, I don't know. This is not the response I expect to see, right? But you can't fault it because our system does not have context of the environment which we are having that conversation. Now, what if we can provide context? What if we can provide context to the user, to the AI? And when I say context, context, the English word means, when you have like when you're, okay, you say, what is the context of the conversation? It's like, what are you referring to? In what space are you referring to? The same one word can mean two different things, right? If I say, I don't have a good example right now, but I think you guys know what I mean. So we're going to give context to the model at inference time. And when I say inference time, I mean when the model is trying to respond to the answer that somebody has asked it, which in this conversation, the context is your customer has asked the question. How do you give it the context of the conversation? Because you cannot just dump AI APIs to your product and expect it to work as you want it to, which is one important thing to think about in your customer experience. We want to put AI into our experience flow, but we need to build a flow where it's not just piping in the AI itself, but we need to give it context of Arthurite integrated, or maybe a particular product that Arthurite integrated has done. Now that's context. So what if we can retrieve? Now, this is a part I say we're going to. What if we can retrieve? I should be able to use a different color for this. What if we can retrieve or make it smaller? Can make it smaller than that. What if we can retrieve context when we ask the question, right? That is most of the systems you're using today that have AI in it, they are using RAG. So when you ask a question, what the AI does is it looks, what is this question? I think I understand where this question is coming from, but I don't know where it is. There's a flow that goes into your vector store. So you have a couple things mixed together. I'm going to do like an entire dashboard. I'll probably just be doing as I'm talking. So you have the user. The user, the user comes, ask the question, right? And then you have this sort of like, probably just copy them like this. You have your system, your RAG system, or let's just say your product, right? Your product and your front end, whatever that is, right? It might be slow a bit, but I just want to do this right. So your user asks a question from, let's say, your front end or whatever, and you need a flow where you can, they're authenticated, everything is proper, or maybe just a random user showing up. Your system is using like Open AI, or let's say one of AWS services. So you just plug in AI, right? You have AI in it. You have like your CX, AI CX done, or you want to, right? Now, it does not have context of what your product is doing, right? You need a way for it to get context and not just come up with responses, right? Which is what the RAG system is. So the R in RAG stands for retrieval. So the thing to do is when the user asks the response from your product that has the AI thing done, like the AI stuff ready, you will you have somewhere that the AI has access to, maybe one of its tools or whatever, right? And this is called a vector store. And you can do this with Kedra, obviously Kendra, AWS Kendra, where you can like store your vector embeddings for your documentation. So you have something called a vector store. And what is inside the vector store is embeddings of your document. Some of these diagrams are not really connected, but just stay with me. So something called a vector store. So vector store is like a database that stores embeddings. Now, I'm using words, right? So what are embeddings? Embeddings are, you take like your documentation, for example, or you take a text, and then you can easily just paste that thing into like ChatGPT and say, use this thing I just gave to you, give me a response, right? But what if you could turn it into um numbers and like, they call them tokens, right? Numbers and what numbers, and what that makes it is when you do that. Sorry, someone say, can you hear me again? Ibrahim, can you hear me? Victor, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, Victor. Is my internet down? Taib? Hello? Okay, so Taib can hear me, but Ibrahim can't hear me. Victor, are you there? I want to be sure it's not my internet, so I know what to do. Okay.
Okay, you're alive. You're still alive. Seeing you.
Okay. All right. Ibrahim says he can't hear me. Okay, it's their internet. All right, good. Sorry, Ibrahim, seems to be your end though. Uh, Maybe move to a better an area with more connectivity. Okay. So I'm just gonna move on. Okay, you can hear now. Very good. So we have the vector store, like I was saying. So if you do some research, you can read more about this. But I'm going to try to speed up to this process. So basically, you take a piece of text or your documentation. So everything Arthurite integrated, everything about the product, you can just take all that dump. You put it together, and you pass it to something called a tokenizer or like there are models that embed. And so what it does is essentially just like takes it and turns it into numbers, zeros and numbers, and looks for how those things relate to one another and chunk it up. So you can take let me just do a simple version. So I Arthurite integrated. Oh, interesting. Arthurite integrated. If you shorten it, it's AI. Ah. AI is a product, is a aid cloud service, let's say agency. For example, I don't know if that sufficiently describes what they do, but yeah, because if you take AI, it's Arthurite integrated. So you take this stuff and you pass it through. There are several ways to do this, by the way, right? You pass it through something called a tokenizer, and this is just like a. I don't know why this thing is really big. It's really big. So you take this. This is just an example of like a documentation or text or whatever, right? You pass it through something called. So this goes down here, and this is something called like. Just gonna bring this up. Is it tokenizer or something? Or just something that can embed, right? There's several ways to do this, and then I'm going to show you a diagram that just sufficiently describes this soon. But I want to do some groundwork, and that takes this and turns it into something like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not words like this, right? It takes this and turns it into this. And then this stuff now, you store it in something like AWS Kendra or uh, Kendra. Kendra is the right word. You store it inside AWS Kendra because that's like you can use that as a vector database, right? And now, when the user makes the request to your product AI, right? Instead of just responding at first, it does something where it can. I'm missing my arrow endpoint. So it does something where instead of just responding directly and just saying, "Oh, you want this, 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 this," okay, AWS Authorite is a why am I missing? Authorite is a mineral services, and just give you a response, just like we add right here, and just give you this response, right? It will not do that. It will first of all go into your vector store and find out the what exactly this guy is asking for, this customer is asking for. Do I have something that relates to it in this vector store? And there's a reason why it's not just using the text. You can easily use the text, but the vector store makes it faster to search and just like because everything deals with similarity. If you do AI or ML, yeah, you understand that everything that relates with the way we have our models right now is just similarity. Like, what's the relationship between this and this? And then if there's a relation and it ranks the relationship, if there's a relation, it figures out that's probably the answer, right? But we're not going to go into that. Let's just pick it up as instead of just like giving a response back, it goes into here and tries to retrieve inside this vector store and tries to retrieve what they call context. Now, when it gets that context back, so the question this guy is asking is what is my question? Let me just bring my question again. My question is so this is the question who or what is a Authorite integrated? Oh my god, see the spelling of that integrated. You guys will be on me. who or what is Arthurite integrated, right? Instead of just giving a response and saying, Arthurite is a mineral composed of divalent copper, at least based on a Google search. And the truth is, these things might land on a good response that favors your product randomly because it's doing a Google search, depending on how you're ranking on SEO. But you don't want to leave this kind of thing to chance because this is probably an enterprise user trying to find out if you guys are what taking a look into, several stuff. So, boy, a RAG system can help you with that. So it's gonna go directly to your own context box. So you can literally have your own context box. It's more like a vector story, just like a DB that has documentation, that has everything that relates to your product. Whatever you want the AI to be able to have access to, you punch it into numbers, tokenize it, whatever. You embed it. So you use an embedder, or there are different ways to do that. And you embed it and you put the embeddings into this vector store. Like I said, this is where you can use Amazon Kendra, or you can just use an Aurora DB, in fact, right? And then it goes there and it finds the context, and then using that context now, like, oh, inside the vector store, Arthurite integrated, which is technically is your docs, right? Okay, Arthurite DB is this, and then it uses that response it gets from there, pass it to the AI now. The AI will now see that, oh, I'm not just dealing with Arthurite mineral. Take that away. I'm dealing with Arthurite integrated, which is this, and it's going to be able to respond to the user using that. Now, I know there are different ways to do customer experience punch with AI. There is AWS Personalized that you can use to do more personalization recommendation and all. But this is a low effort, quick build that promise the return on the investment is quite substantial, right? Because now you're giving, it's not just punching AI flows. Before this, you probably just have like someone responding to customer queries. There's that, you can do that, doesn't replace it. If you want to go all manual, provide more in more context, but think about the time taken for that. But this now provides your documentation, provides support on demand. Boom, the person asks more. It's not just a response, it's a contextual response that fits their question. And you can even do some configuration that if the query that is requested for is not present here, don't respond. No, all of this can be built into your system, right? And this is essentially a very short eye overview of what a RAG system is. So if you look at what we started with, we have like let me pull that up real quick so you can see. So I said retrieval. Now the retrieval part is this. The user asks the product for questions. The product goes and ask your AI or your AI chatbot in whatever flow you're using it. If you're building it yourself or wherever you're integrating it. So like I said, you can use any of the services that is out of the box, or you can build your own flow that has be custom tweaks or whatever that is into it. But a system that can easily just 10x your experience is just this RAG system that you have right here. So it uses the AI, goes to the vector store, fetches context, passes it back to the AI. The AI can now, use that to respond to the user. So what can this look like in an AWS situation? What are the things you need to connect? So this is a very can you guys still hear me? My experience, I like asking substantially. Victor, are you still there?
Yeah, can hear you. Yeah, can hear you.
Okay, good, awesome. Okay, I hope I'm not boring you guys out. Please give me some good responses in the chat. Let me know how you guys are feeling. If you have questions, if you have like feedback, I would love to hear it. So why I first went through all of that is because, like I said, AI is pretty still. No, you can sprinkle AI into a lot of things in your product and just put it there, but I would prefer that it comes at a point where it can actually help with the experience or provide something that is better than what you currently have, which you can't deny it. Customer experience is one place that you can put it. So I was saying that this is a good example of what that would look like in an AWS instance, right? So you have, I think I can bring up my, can you guys see? I'm trying to draw on the document. Okay, it's not visible because I'm sharing just that tab. That's sad. Okay, I think I would just use this instead and maybe make it smaller. Okay, you guys should be able to see that now. Okay, you guys can see this. Okay, so you have, so take a look at my very ugly diagrams I drew here, right? Remember what I said? A user asks the product, whatever that construction is, there's several things that can go into this box. And then instead of just providing a response back, we don't do that. We go get context. We go retrieve context, retrieval, right? And then, augmented. When you say something is augmented, it is helping. It's helping something become better. Augmented. So if you watch all this sci-fi film and people are having like mechanical arms and stuff, they call them augmented humans because they have something that makes them better. Quote. So this is retrieving context and using it to augment the product AI, which is a chatbot or whatever you have, and then using that new context it has, that this is Arthurite, right? It is using that to generate the response that is going to help the user. And you have someone that is going to leave happier than when they came, right? Not just someone that lands and say, what is Arthurite integrated? And is saying it's a mineral compound composed of hydrogen and oxygen. Nah. So that is what RAG means, retrieval augmented generation. And I hope that's kind of like a very simple and understandable way to process that. So you retrieve context, you use it to augment the AI, and then use that to generate the response. RAG. Simple. Now I'll show you the I think I should just probably bring this closer so I can run through them easily. Okay. So we have this this version of, this is what it looks like for using AWS services. If you want to build this by connecting some AWS service, and I'm very sure you can. No, these nodes are not strange to you guys. So my explanation of what I'm going to do is just overview of everything, so it doesn't just like, I don't repeat everything I've just said. So you have a user, and then you can see that we have, oh, you can see that we have a user, right? Okay, once I draw, okay, it's visible. I think I did something bad. It's very hard trying to see over this stuff. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see it. So you have a user that does like a back and forth. You can see it backs and forth conversation with the with your service, right? So this can be what you have in the chatbot. But a good place to start is this number one. If you see what we have here, we have you have your documents. And this is what you would have done behind the scenes. This is not something your customer would do. This is something you would have done, where you get your documents and you embed it. You kind of like pack them together. So this could be your documentation, your docs, right? It could be your sales call. This is something we did at my work, right? It could be your sale call. It could be your support queries and feedback. Man, that's some bad writing. It could be a lot of that, right? So you can pack all of that, and then you can put it into whatever data source you want to. So S3 is a good option, or even a custom one that you prefer. And then you pack it into this stuff, right? And then what it does is you can use any of these vector databases. So Atlas, Redis, Kendra, Aurora, or OpenSearch. Like I said, a vector database contains the same documents that you have, right? But it's been embedded, it's been chunked up. I did one recently for using N10. If you guys know N10, do you guys know N10? The automation platform. uh, I was trying to do RAG system, right? But I didn't want to go through these complex processes and all this. I wanted something simple, very easy. I can just put together that works. So I just used anything to do it. So, but essentially the idea is the same. If you're using Pinecone, Pinecone 2 is a vector database, right? Pinecone. Let me just write that out, just in case people are trying to explore. Pinecone is a vector DB that you can use to chunk up and put your data in chunks, and then we can provide context to your AI. So, but these are the ones that you can use right from the store of AWS, right? So you put your documents, it's pass it inside this data source, right? And then your vector DB is whichever of this, and then you have that ready. It's always available for your service to reach out to and get context. Like I said, the vector store is always there because you've done all this behind the scenes, converted your documentation into numbers and words and embedded it, and then vector store, right? Now, when any of this happens, when a user comes and says, you know what, blah, 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 I need this. You've done all the authentication, you've used your Lambda to trigger, all those stuff. You've reached out to the queue, and then your AI model. Now, this is the interesting part. The bedrock is where we put our AI model. That is where the AI models are, right? It's the Lambda. This is going to go fetch context. It's going to reach out to this place and say, you know what, I need you to find me this in your vector store. And because we've embedded it, it's faster. It's more contextual because it's going to just compare what it's getting and use it to find out what in this particular documentation is similar to this. Super fast. Now, because it's not dealing with text now, it's dealing with embeddings. It has passed it. It now sees it in the data. It can easily pass and understand, right? And then it's going to retrieve that, and you can see that it goes in here, right? It doesn't. This is just for providing it back. It goes in here. I should probably just use black for this, and then it gets the response. I don't know why that stuff is really big. Maybe because I'm zoomed in. It gets in here, and then it takes the response. That's really big. I don't know how to make it smaller. Okay, let's just proceed. So it gets in here, get the response, and then uses it, passes back to the AI, and then responds back to the user, right? So this is where, if you have a complete system, you have the deployment pipeline here and everything. This is how you might ideally put it together, right? This is a very good resource I found, and it kind of describes the high level workflow. But our RAG system is just when the user, bunch of the work happens right here. All of this is this is triggering this, queuing it up for the queuing up the stuff, and then triggering trigger another. You see, we have the RAG response stream in here. The AI responds to this function, and then we return it to the gateway, which is a WebSocket gateway, by the way. So the response is like back and forth, and then it gives it back to the user. So now our user doesn't just get like a random thing, right? They just don't get, okay, what's happening here. They can get something that relates to your product, and there are different ways you can probably put this together, right? But this is one I think is ideal and kind of accounts for authentication, everything on its own, right? You can take a screenshot, or maybe I can share that later, or you can just Google search something and you can find this. Okay, I believe that is one way to look at it. If you want to go into voice, there are different services that you can also use, so that you probably find a way to just plug in a voice service into this flow, right? Because voice, except you're using a voice model that uses voice predominantly, most of this stuff, what they do is speech, text to speech. So they get the response in text, and then they just use a speech model or whatever to repeat it back to you in audio, right? But if you're dealing with text, this is probably a way to go. Okay. So this is one way you can put in your. I'm just stop sharing my screen now, so I can take questions and like round up on this. I think we are beyond time, and I'm sorry. I was so excited. I was just talking about everything I've learned and integrated. Okay. Now, so there's several ways that you can plug in this stuff into your flow, but I would say that the best way to do this is just to understand what areas you are trying to improve, uh, and find out the best way to integrate it. There are some off the shelf products that you can plug in. But every time we want to have something custom ourselves, or maybe you're even trying to build something that does this and sell it to. So that's a way to do it. I will be taking, if you have any questions or anything, please do drop them in the chat, and let me know what you're thinking about RAG and about customer experiences. Because if you think about it, you yourself, you're a customer, you're using other products. What have you seen out there that you think is pretty cool that is helping you experience a product better? Or what would you like to share from the session? So for next steps for you, sorry, I have a call. So for next steps, while you guys are thinking about that and you're dropping it, for next steps, what I would say is look at your existing customer journey or your existing customer experience. You don't have to do a rack system if you don't want to. You might not have to. Your own might be in the docs, and ideally you can plug this like a chatbot and just put it somewhere in your documentation and have people go interact with it. It's literally this. Or you can sell this off on platforms. There are several people looking for engineers that can build this, and I've seen all of these job offers come up every time. Please, we need a rack system. We need a system that can use our documentation as a source of truth, our knowledge base, right? You can do this. And once you identify where you need this stuff in your products or where you need this, is just to start small. You can start with just like things that can do like basic inquiries. I think we tried exploring that part. The way we did that was we have like ChatGPT. Now, if you go to ChatGPT and you, aside from the ChatGPT itself, the interface, there's a backend where you can see like if you, especially if you're a developer, you probably have seen it because that's where you find your API keys and stuff. I wish I could show that, but I'm not sure if I can show other products on an AWS stream. But you can plug in your docs in the backend and then use that. You know those custom GPTs. I don't know if you've seen custom GPTs. It's very beautiful. So you can start with that. Start small, see the usage, and understand what users are actually interested in or where they are finding the great use for it. Once once you've gotten some that can answer like the common questions that people are having, you can start thinking about maybe making a custom implementation or maybe by getting an off-the-shelf product that can do that thing. And very importantly, you want to measure the impact of what you're doing, because the only way you can improve something that is something like this is to know what is working, what is not working, what people are actually requesting for, and making that better, or if it's not doing well, scrapping something up totally. So you want to always track metrics. So response time, are people satisfied? So when you're doing a chat, but you see all those questions that pop up and say, please rate your conversation. It's a very good, important thing because it allows you to know if you are doing this thing properly. And that is really a very, very important key metric to take in as a business or as a product. And also like train the people that you're working with. So their customer support teams are not usually on the technical side. Not every time you get that opportunity to have someone that's very technical on the customer support team. You might want to encourage them to start looking into all this stuff. So now there's a technical side where you are integrating it, but there's also the side where simple things like ChatGPT and like can't remember this AI model particularly, but AWS centric that can help. So I'm not going to stop rambling off if I don't put a pin into it right now. But one thing I will end up is companies that adopt AI in their customer experience, they are not just improving their service, they are creating a very, very, very important competitive advantage. and I can say that anywhere. I can see that anywhere because something that makes me feel good when I go and I can get my response faster. I can, have quick answers to things I want. I would feel good coming back, right? So every money you spend in that area is not lost. It's helping you have a competitive advantage. So hopefully this is something that you find valuable. Nobody has responded to the question. Okay, interesting. So I guess you guys understood everything. Oh, I was so good. There are no questions. All right. Thanks so much. Victor, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, good. I think my guys do not have questions. My people do not have questions. So do you have a question? Do you have questions? Do you?
Okay. Thank you very much for the impactful session, sir. I really enjoyed about when you were talking about rag and everything. So now, if I see or like see anything rag, I will not think about the normal rag I used to think about. I'll think about retrieval augmented generation, which was quite good. Yeah, thank you. So I hope everybody picked one or two things from what he said, and yeah, so we can use that and learn more and apply it in our daily life. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate you guys. About uh next event, so it's not going to be a webinar. It's going to be an open mic discussion with the Arthurite team. So we're going to be live on X tomorrow. So yeah, I would like to see you guys there. And also, our event is next tomorrow. It's just by the corner. So I would like you guys to register if you haven't, and I'll see you guys there because we're going to have a lot of a lot of speakers, keynote speakers, panel discussion, and all of that. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Yeah. So thank you once again, Joshua. Yeah. So that's it. So thank you guys and have a great evening. And I'll see you tomorrow and next tomorrow at the event.